Firearms manufacturers, both local and foreign, have been saturating the civilian self-defense market with nothing but polymer-framed, striker-fired micro-compact pistols like the SIG P365, the Springfield Hellcat, the Glock 43X, etc., etc. Chambered in 9mm, these so-called Micro-9s are typically lightweight because of their plastic frame and have a high-capacity magazine that holds 10 or more rounds. And there are a ton of reasons why they have become so popular, chief among which is they are typically priced lower than all-metal pistols. These pistols have fewer moving parts and polymer is more readily available and much easier to work with compared to steel or aluminum. For those reasons, Micro-9s are cheaper and faster to build, and manufacturers are able to sell them for less as a result. One other reason they've become so popular is because of the 9mm. Just over a decade ago, the 9mm was just one of the big three popular pistol calibers, the other two being the 45 ACP and the 40 Smith & Wesson. But with the advent of modern bullet technology and the impact of the pandemic on the global supply chain, the 9mm is now in a league of its own. But the 9mm has one problem. Even with modern bullet designs resulting in improved terminal performance, it is still ballistically weak. If you're in bear country and you need something to defend yourself with against the big two-legged critters that live there, what are your options? In this video, I'll talk about 7 of the most powerful handguns you can carry for when you need something with significantly more power than your average Micro-9. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 7. Ruger SP-101, Model 5784, 327 Federal Magnum. It was some time in 2008 when Federal Premium Ammunition introduced the 327 Federal Magnum, a 31 caliber rimmed centerfire cartridge for use in revolvers based on the now dying 32 H&R Magnum that was released in 1984. The 327 Federal Magnum is technically not a Magnum. What it is a Super Magnum, because the 32 H&R Magnum, as its name suggests, is already a Magnum version of the original 32 Smith & Wesson Long, which dates back to 1896. With the 32 H&R Magnum as its parent case, the 327 Federal Magnum uses a stronger case that is 1/8 of an inch longer than its parent case, but with a thicker web at its base and thicker case walls with a different metallurgy and heat treatment process so it can handle much higher pressure levels. To be specific, the 32 H&R Magnum case is rated for up to 23,500 psi, while the 327 Federal Magnum is rated for up to 45,000 psi, which is almost double the pressure levels of its parent case. This makes it more powerful than the 9mm. The hottest 327 Federal Magnum load, the Speer Godot 115 grain, can achieve a velocity of 1,316 feet per second out of the Ruger SP-101's 3-inch barrel, which amounts to 442 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. With only 6 of those in the cylinder, the Ruger SP-101 may not have nearly as much firepower as a Glock 43X, but it is highly concealable, and if you know what you're doing, you can make those 6 shots count. But if you can't, you can always purchase speed loaders from Pockmeyer, HKS, or Speedbees. Number 6. Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD 357 Magnum. Longtime subscribers of the channel know that I have a love-hate relationship with the Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD. That's because everyone I know who has shot full-power 357 Magnum loads from it developed a flinch, myself included. But that doesn't mean it's a poorly built or a poorly designed pistol. On the contrary, the level of innovation and craftsmanship required to build such a strong but ultra-lightweight revolver far surpasses similar offerings from any of Big Blue's wheel gun manufacturing competitors. Indeed, the company knew it was onto a winner when it secured a patent for its scandium aluminum alloy process. The Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD is a really tiny snub nose designed to be carried a lot but shot a little. Built on the company's J-frame, it is an EDC piece from the get-go. Because it weighs only 11.8 ounces, you can carry it around all day without feeling sore. But it has to be said that there may be times you'll totally forget that you're carrying anything at all because of how light it is, and that can become a problem. Still, even with its absurdly super lightweight, you can still load it with full-power 357 Magnum loads. The pain of recoil will matter very little when a bear is about to maul you to death. Number 5. Kunin Cadet 357 Magnum. With the 9mm and possibly the 380 ACP being the only exceptions, any cartridge that uses a bullet with a diameter that measures anywhere between 355 thousandths to 357 thousandths of an inch will never be a popular choice among people who prefer to carry a semi-automatic over a wheel gun. Take a look at the 38 Super, the 9x23 Winchester, the 357 SIG, and the 960 Roland, all of which sounded promising, but none caught on, no matter their proposed merits. That's because if you need a semi-auto pistol cartridge that utilizes a 355 caliber bullet with more stopping power than a 9mm, there's a pretty good chance a 9mm plus P plus load will fit the bill, because it has practically the same ballistic performance as the 4 cartridges I mentioned. But what if the 9mm plus P plus is still not enough, and you don't want a big bore pistol caliber like the 10mm or the 45 ACP? Then you can carry a handgun chambered in 357 Magnum, though most of those are revolvers. Yes, most, not all. There are 3 semi-auto handguns that can chamber and shoot 357 Magnum safely: the Desert Eagle, the Lar Grizzly, and the Kunin. And of those 3, the only pistol that can be easily carried is the Kunin. Specifically the Kunin Cadet version, with a barrel that measures only 3 3/4 of an inch. It's only slightly bigger than the commander-sized 1911, but it packs a wallop. The only problem is, the company went out of business, so you'll need to scour the interwebs if you want one. Number 4. Springfield XDM Elite Compact 10mm. As the 40 Smith & Wesson is dying a slow and painful death, its parent cartridge, the 10mm, is seeing a continuous resurgence in the past couple of years. Every year, you see a couple of new semi-automatic pistol models chambered in 10mm from different gun manufacturers, and it's not hard to see why. The 10mm is one of the most versatile pistol caliber cartridges on the market today because, like the 9mm, its short overall length lets it fit in virtually any magazine. Its relatively slim profile also gives it a small footprint, allowing for high mag capacities in guns chambered for it. And because of why and how it was designed, it can generate significantly higher energy levels than the 9mm. Some of the most powerful 10mm loads, like the ones Buffalo Bore makes, can push a heavy 188 grain jacketed hollow cavity bullet out of a 5-inch pistol barrel at a velocity of about 1,400 feet per second, which equates to 784 foot-pounds of force at the muzzle. The Springfield XDM Elite Compact only has a 3.8-inch barrel, but the same load can still reach a velocity of up to 1,300 feet per second, which amounts to 676 foot-pounds of force at the muzzle. That is still well within 357 Magnum energy levels. So, why get a Springfield XDM Elite Compact and not a Glock 20 or a Glock 29? Because the Glock 20 is a full-size pistol, which makes it a little harder to carry. And while the XDM Elite is shorter than the Glock 29, it has a longer barrel and one more round in its flush-fitting mag. Number 3. H&K USP Compact 45 Super. The 45 Super is an unofficial update to the 45 ACP developed by a gun writer, Dean Grennell, in 1988. Why did he have to do an update? It's because the 45 ACP is an outdated design, as it was introduced back in 1904. It has design limitations that contribute to its lackluster ballistic capabilities by today's standards. That's because back in those days, ammo manufacturers used black powder, which was nowhere near as effective as modern smokeless powders when it comes to generating chamber pressure. The 45 ACP's case is only rated for pressure levels of up to 21,000 psi. Out of a 5-inch 1911 barrel, factory 45 ACP 230 grain loads can only go up to 850 feet per second, equivalent to only 369 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, which, by today's standards, is weak. By comparison, the 45 Super's case is rated for 28,000 psi, and factory 45 Super 255 grain loads can fly out of the same 5-inch 1911 barrel at a velocity of 1,100 feet per second, generating 685 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. But there's a catch. Most 45 ACP pistols cannot safely chamber and shoot the 45 Super without an aftermarket barrel and recoil spring. Thankfully, there are a few exceptions, one of which is the H&K USP Compact. With an 8-round mag capacity, it's a compact but rather beefy pistol that can be easily carried in an IWB holster. The USP Compact's manual states that it is rated for +P and +P+. but many owners attest to feeding it a limited diet of 45 Super without experiencing issues. If you're not going to mag dump a box of 45 Super ammo with it in one sitting, you should be fine. Number 2. Glock 30 converted to 460 Roland. The 460 Roland is another unofficial update to the 45 ACP. And before you even ask, there are other unofficial updates. You can comment below if you want us to make a video on those. But going back, 9 years after the 45 Super came out, an even more powerful version called the 460 Roland was developed by a gun show host, Johnny Roland. With a pressure rating of 40,000 psi, the 460 Roland's case was made to be a 1/16 of an inch longer than the 45 ACPs, so there's no way it will chamber in a pistol that doesn't have the necessary modifications. Out of a 5-inch compensated 1911 barrel, Buffalo Bore's 460 Roland 255 grain hard-cast flat nose can reach velocities of up to 1,300 feet per second, which generates a muzzle energy of 957 foot-pounds, over 2.5 times that of standard pressure 45 ACP fired from virtually the same pistol size. That puts the 460 Roland in 44 Magnum ballistics territory. Out of the Glock 30's 3.77-inch barrel, the same 255 grain bullet can only manage 1,150 feet per second thereabouts, which translates to 749 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, still plenty powerful for such a small pistol. And don't forget that it has a 10-round mag capacity. This makes the Glock 30 and 460 Roland one of the most common bear defense guns that Alaskans carry. Number 1. Smith & Wesson Model 500 ES. And finally, I get to talk about the Smith & Wesson Model 500 ES chambered in what used to be the most powerful production handgun cartridge in the world, the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Yes, it used to be the most powerful, because it was eclipsed 2 years ago by the 500 Bushwhacker, which came out of nowhere, but that's neither here nor there. Out of the original 8 3/8-inch barrel of the first Smith & Wesson Model 500, an Underwood 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum 350 grain XTP load flies at a velocity of 1,912 feet per second and generates a whopping 2,842 foot-pounds of force at the muzzle. The same 350 grain XTP bullet leaves the Model 500 ES's 2.75-inch barrel at around 1,574 feet per second, which equates to 1,926 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And 5 of those thumpers in the cylinder are more than enough to defend yourself against the biggest two-legged critters in North America. But the Smith & Wesson Model 500 ES can be hard to come by because Big Blue only did a limited run of those revolvers over a decade ago as part of their emergency survival kit gimmick. If you do manage to snag one, be sure to familiarize yourself with its wrist-breaking recoil before you even carry it. And that's all I have for you in this video. Admittedly, there are a lot of other really powerful guns that can be carried for self-defense, and I'm pretty sure you all have your own personal preferences. Feel free to sound them off in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, and click on that little bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.